The mic belongs to powerful, accomplished women, and we are not letting go. Nothing but the voices of women who inspire, challenge, and move us forward. It's the women of KBLA Talk 1580, sun up to sundown. I'm Dominique DePrima, and I'll anchor the day with a 3-hour live panel from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the state of black women in LA, followed by women talking to women all day long about the issues that matter most. Our hosts for the day include Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Angela Reddick Wright, Raquel Graham, Angelique Francis, Tasha Thomas, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, Dion Raymond, and featuring special guest hosts Santita Jackson and Amanda Seals. This is Women's History Month, and we're not just celebrating it, we're amplifying it. Join us Friday, March 27th on KBLA Talk 1580, where women take over all day, all night. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and all of our socials for the rundown. You don't want to miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
To my ladies,
I'll show you know how to work that.
You are the bomb.
Street Science, you're on the air. What do you feel when you hear a record like Tupac's new one?
I love Tupac's new record.
Right, but don't you feel like that creates tension between East and West? He's talking about killing people. I had sex with your wife, and not in those words. But he's talking about, I want to see you deceased.
Look down to live and die in LA, California. What you say about Los Angeles? Still the only place for me that never rains in the sun. To live and die in LA, where every day we try to fatten our pockets. I sing and hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing. Worldwide through the hard times, worrying faces. Shed tears as we bury them, singing close to heart. What was a friend, now a ghost in the dark. Cold part about it, getting got smoked by a fiend. Trying to floss on them, blind to a broken man's dream. A hard lesson, court cases keep them guessing. Plea bargain ain't the option now, so I'm stressing. Cost me more to be free than a life in the pen. Making money off of cuss words, writing again. Learn how to think ahead, so I fight with my pen. Late night down, sunset, like in the sin. What's the worst they can do to a nigga? Got me lost in hell to live and die in LA. On bail, my angels sing.
KBLA Talk 1580. Rest in peace, Pac. Good morning, everybody. Hope you good. Y'all must have forgot we've been down. So look, the phone lines are open right now on this Think Tank Thursday. And of course, a lot of us are thinking about war. Thinking about peace would probably be a better move. There are activists like Bernie Sanders and others who have been for years advocating for something called a Department of Peace, but we do not have that. We have a Defense Department, which the Trump administration wants you to call the Department of War, and spent millions of dollars changing signs to make it say Department of War. We were getting from the mainstream media on yesterday about how the new Secretary of Defense, I hesitate because he wants to be called the Secretary of War, but you don't get to just make up your titles, or do you? I guess I made up a title, but I'm not tasked with moving billions of dollars of your money and killing people or choosing not to do so. In any case, we were getting news in the mainstream media yesterday about how Pete Hegseth spent literally billions of dollars, millions of dollars on frivolous items like lobster, millions of dollars on lobster, millions of dollars on prime rib for the Department of Defense, while we are defunding food stamps for our own people. What kind of government? I really do. I bring the facts. I'm evidence-based. I'm fact-based. I believe in hearing, quote-unquote, both sides, even though most of the time the talking points from the right are very disingenuous. I'm going to hear you out. What's your point of view? But I don't know what there is to hear out about bombing school children, right?
little kids, little girls, like the United States did in Iran. And the president is blaming the Iranians. So let me get this straight. They got one of their own bombs. They got one of our bombs. They got a U.S. bomb and then used it to kill almost 200 of their own children. To do what? Why would they do that? That is one of the worst lies I've ever heard. And now U.S. analysts and international analysts are saying, no, it was the U.S. And then yesterday, we hear that they're talking about that the authorities have warned the governor, I guess, that we are a possible target. We being California, the state of California, where I'm broadcasting from right now on Crenshaw, the famous Crenshaw corridor, is a possible target for retaliation by Iran. The thing about it is that could be true. A lot of people on social media think that the Trump administration will do us like they did the school, bomb California, blame Tehran, when it's really their desire to take us down. I don't know. We have no evidence of that other than if we're working with pattern recognition. Pattern recognition shows that Donald Trump does dirty deeds and then blames the victim. That's a pattern. That is a clear pattern from his sex offender behavior to Iran. So it kind of goes macro to micro to everything in between. It's a pattern. They are evildoers. This president is evil. I try to be, I try to give every human being the benefit of the doubt. But why do I say that? What kind of administration, what kind of government, what kind of human forces doctors to leave countries that don't have doctors nor medical resources just to get back at another country? That's what they're doing. They're forcing countries like Jamaica, like Honduras, who have almost no medical resources at all, to expel the Cuban doctors. The U.S. is bullying other countries into getting rid of doctors that they desperately need. This is a country that won't even give health care to its own citizens. Do we have Medicare for all? Do we have universal health care in the United States? No, we do not. Should we? Yes, we should. Absolutely. We're one of the richest countries in the world. Other developed nations have it. Canada, Germany, the list goes on. Israel, they have universal health care. If you got something wrong with you, you can go to the doctor and it's not going to break your budget because guess what? It's part of your benefits as a citizen of that nation. As it should be. That's one of the reasons why we take taxes. The whole point of taxes is to help the commons, right? Things like roads, fire departments, schools, and yes, healthcare. Okay? But no, not only will this administration not help you pay for your Obamacare, which, by the way, is a step down from universal health care. It's a step up from where we were before the Affordable Care Act, yes, undoubtedly, but it still allows the insurance companies to have the last word and to keep getting paid. They won't even help you pay the insurance company. They're cutting back on Medicaid and Medi-Cal for low-income people to get health coverage. And trust and believe, and we already know this, that they want to either privatize or eliminate entirely Social Security and Medicare. So they don't want to help you, me, you, your friend over there, that guy in the back. They don't want to help us get our health care. That's bad enough. That's up to us. We can try to hold them accountable at the ballot box if we still have one. But now you want to do that to other countries? I've been to Honduras. I've been there several times when my former husband was working there. They don't have much. It's beautiful. People are nice. They don't have much. When I visited Tegucigalpa, they had, that's their capital city, they had the highest murder rate in the whole world. Why? Gangs. Where did those gangs come from? The United States. Not just because of our appetite for drugs, but because we literally exported gang culture from Los Angeles to Central America with a revolving prison door. And that's the story of the creation of MS-13 and some of these other gangs, right? Why is there a Grape Street in Central America? They didn't come up with that. That's an American export. So they don't have much, and they don't have much medical care. And the Cuban doctors are world famous because even though Cuba has nothing, they have very few resources. Why? Because the United States has been blockading them since, 1960, I think, when after the Cuban Revolution, we decided to punish them. We punished them more than Haiti, more than anybody else. We won't let other countries do business with them. And now we've ramped it up a notch by choking off the oil, the Venezuelan oil that they were getting. So they're in the dark. They're cold. They can't, their garbage is not getting collected. It's piling up on the street. In spite of all of these obstacles, the Cuban people now have something like a 99% literacy rate. They have fought back with education, and they have some of the best doctors in the world. They created a cure so that women with AIDS don't pass it on to their babies. Cuban scientists did that, even while being blockaded by the U.S. Cuban scientists did that. Cuban doctors have gone to places all over the world, in Africa and throughout Latin America, in Asia, where people have not enough money and no doctors, and they have provided that health care. Well, now the United States is kicking those doctors out. For what? To try to punish Cuba, but they're not just punishing Cuba, they're punishing Jamaica, they're punishing Honduras, they're punishing these other countries. And what makes it even more evil, aside from the fact that they won't give you or me or the guy in the back health care, and they're driving out the doctors from other countries where they're needed, right? They have cut off aid to all of these other countries. We're not going to give you aid, and we're not going to let Cuba help you. The only thing we'll do is offer you a arm-twisting bully deal where you give us all your minerals and you can get your help back. That is not aid. That is extortion. Look, right now it's feeling, it's sad that the U.S. is telling the soldiers, apparently, that this is a holy war, that God meant for us to go and kill the Iranians. We're not supposed to be a theocracy. Iran is a theocracy. Their country is ruled by religious figures, by clerics. Our country is not supposed to be that way. One of the reasons this democracy was founded the way it was, though our Constitution is written the way it is because people were fleeing. Some of the people were fleeing Europe because of religious persecution. We're supposed to have freedom of religion, freedom from religion. If you're an atheist, you get to do that. If you're an agnostic, hey, go on and doubt. If you're a Buddhist, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jewish person, Hindu, all are welcome here. That's how it's supposed to be. We're not supposed to be doing a holy war. But here at home, it is starting to feel like a fight. An old-fashioned fight between good and evil. What could be the logical, possible, true, real explanation for why you would want to strip people of health care, of doctors who desperately need it, leave people to die without aid? What could be the possible justification for killing a bunch of schoolgirls? And if it was a mistake, which some are saying it was an error, then the question is, did you target that, or did you let AI select the target, garbage in, garbage out, and AI decided to kill, 146 schoolgirls and many more others? Who did that? Who made that decision? Was it the tech bros? Was it Claude? 800-920-1580. How do we stop it? How do we stop it? That's our Think Tank Thursday assignment again today. Love to hear from you. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day. All the women who independent, throw your hands up at me.
This March, we're turning up the volume on the women who changed everything. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to celebrate Women's History Month, honoring the trailblazers, truth tellers, and game changers who shaped our world, our culture, and our community. From the freedom fighters to the firsts, from the boardroom to the front lines, from the unsung to the unforgettable. All month long, we're celebrating the stories, the voices, and the conversations that remind us that women, Black women, have always led the way. Don't miss a moment. This is our moment. This is our story. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580, Los Angeles' home for the conversations that matter.
I'm your girl, you're my girl, we your girls. Won't you know that we love you?
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does, and you are welcome in 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Imagine having a war where you can't even give the reason exactly. This president has has changed his story so many times about why we are spending $2 billion a day to murder people in a country that did not provoke us. Now, you could say Iran is a problem. Well, okay, if they're a problem, they've been a problem. That's not new. They've been a problem my whole life from the point of view of the United States. But the fact of the matter is we never just went and bombed them. The Hawks have always talked about it, but right now we're doing it, and you can't even give us a straight-face reason why. Oh, they were gonna attack us. I had a feeling because Jared Kushner told me. Oh, well, you know, it's They're not even using the drugs lie. It's an ever-changing story. It's the nuclear weapons. Wait, they were going to attack us. No. What? $2 billion a day is what we're hearing, and that's from the Pentagon. So that's not the total cost of the war. That's just an estimate. So the minimum is $2 billion a day. $2 billion a day. But we can't afford food stamps for our people. SNAP benefits. Can't do that. Can't afford Medicare for all, even though Israel has it. And we are pretty much going it alone. I mean, the United States and Israel, Canada, no thank you. They said, no thank you. Not now or ever will we be joining in that mess. Germany, pretty much the same. It's cowboy time. So the Associated Press is reporting that the strike on the school was probably the result of outdated intel, that the coordinates that were sent were probably wrong. And this should be embarrassing for these people, because 165 people are dead. It's the most deadly, if it is proven to be the U.S.'s fault, which it clearly looks like it is. It would be the most deadly attack by the U.S. military in decades. 165 people, I believe. 165, yeah, most of them kids, were killed. The president blamed Iran. Then he said he wasn't sure. Now he's saying he'll wait for the investigation, something he never does, which means we did it. Apparently, the Defense Intelligence Agency sent outdated data. You guys are supposed to be the tech bros, the data crunchers of life. How do you get it wrong? And what role did AI play in this? No comment. No comment, says the agency. What do Democrats do? Wait for it. A strongly worded letter. 45 senators wrote to Hegseth demanding to know whose fault it was. Oh, that'll help. Meanwhile, the new supreme leader in Iran is giving the United States the metaphorical middle finger. He says that he will continue to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, which is where I think something like 20% of the world's oil goes in and out of, which means prices are going to go up, up, up. He says, the new supreme leader says that his name is Mojtaba Khamenei. He says that get ready for $200 a barrel oil, which would be double where we are right now, which has already sent oil prices up, up, up. Gas is getting more and more expensive. He says he will keep blocking the Strait of Hormuz to avenge the blood of martyrs. Now, you notice the Trump administration said, oh, well, we'll give you insurance on your tankers. As if that would make business people just go ahead and send their ships through the Strait of Hormuz. It's almost entirely stopped. That traffic is almost entirely stopped. Because unlike Donald Trump, most business owners are not fine with just blowing up a bunch of their workers. Oh, we'll insure it. Who cares if the captain and all of the crew die in a fiery death from a burning oil tanker? No one is except taking them up on that offer. I mean, I guess some are, but they're not. They might be taking them up on insurance, but they're not sailing through that strait, which is what brings that Middle Eastern oil out to the world, not just from Iran, from other places too. The oil terminals have closed down in Iraq and Oman, and that means it's going to get more and more expensive. This is a global economic disruption. It's not just the United States. Prices will be going up, 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 up. This is likely to make people more and more angry here. And the threat of being bombed ourselves is terrible too. But to me, not at all surprising. You know, when we got attacked on 9/11 and it was the first such attack on U.S. soil, it made me think about why we don't get attacked more. And to be honest with you, it's not something I want to bring on us. I never want to see that kind of warfare, the kind of destruction we've seen the U.S. and Israel rain down on Gaza or Iran. Don't want to see that. Don't want to see it here at all. But when you keep being the aggressor, when you keep being the bully of the world, when you keep funding other people for unjust wars and the carnage, the slaughter of civilians, it's hard to stay safe. And I know we spend all this money on our military, way too much. But, I don't even want to say it. Oh, look, Saved by the Clock. Time for news, traffic, and sports. You are welcome in 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The race for former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's Georgia seat is headed to a runoff. Former Republican State Senator Colton Moore has conceded.
If you look at the poll numbers, they don't really look that good for us.
He came in a distant third. Black Democrat Sean Harris and Republican Clay Fuller topped a 22-candidate field, but neither hit 50%. They'll face off April 7th. House Speaker Mike Johnson is refusing to condemn anti-Muslim remarks from GOP Congressmen Andy Ogles and Randy Fine. Johnson says they were criticizing Sharia law, not all Muslims. Democrats blasted the comments, with leader Hakeem Jeffries calling Ogles a malignant clown. And former BET chair Deborah Lee will receive the Icon Award at the first Black Women in Entertainment ceremony on March 19th in Los Angeles. Lee is being honored for more than 3 decades of championing Black storytelling. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Visit Hard Rock Casino Tejon for the $500,000 Luck of the Irish BMW drawing. Drawings every Thursday in March. Hard Rock Casino Tejon, the closest casino to downtown LA. The excitement starts here at the new Hard Rock Casino Tejon.
Is this the Tejon? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Clippers made it past the 500 mark Wednesday night and got a spectacular performance from Kawhi Leonard. Leonard dropped 45 points to lead the Clippers to a 153-128 win over Minnesota. The 153 is a season high for the Clippers, who won their 3rd straight and 6 of their last 7. The Clippers are 33-32, first time over 500 since they were 3-2 on October 31st. Hard to believe that this team was 6-21 in December. Leonard was sensational. He made 15 of 20 shots and was 9 of 10 at the free throw line. Leonard has led the Clippers in scoring the last 7 games. Knock on wood, everybody, so this brother can stay healthy. The Lakers are back in action tonight. They play Chicago at Crypto.com. The Lakers are going for their 4th straight win. LeBron could be another game-time decision. He's missed the last 3 games with an elbow injury and a bruised hip. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh my God!
Injured in an accident? Insurance not paying what you deserve? The Law Office of Hamlin will get you paid. Call 424-266-9175. That's 424-266-9175. The Law Office of Hamlin, your legal vibe for the culture.
Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580 host and African Focus Incorporated cultural ambassador. You probably know by now that every year our two organizations team up to lead a trip to the Hi, I'm Dominique DePrima, KBLA Talk 1580 host and African Focus Incorporated cultural ambassador. You probably know by now that every year our two organizations team up to lead a trip to the motherland. This June will be our 8th African Focus Trailblazers Tour, and it's not too late to join us. But if you've been thinking of going with us, now is the time to sign on before prices go up. Our current deadline is March 20th. Join us as we travel to a country widely considered one of Africa's most underrated destinations, Zambia, home to the towering Victoria Falls and the bustling capital city, Lusaka. Enjoy a visit to Botswana, known for its pristine natural beauty and stunning southern African wildlife. We travel in comfort with luxury accommodations, a variety of fun activities, and delicious dining. We do service with charitable work at a school and an orphanage, and we expand our horizons with cultural and historical excursions. To sign up now before our March 20th deadline, please call African Focus Incorporated at 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300. Or check out africanfocus.org. Whether it's in the community or traveling the globe, we move as family. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Let's go.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
So maybe our think tank for today is the Department of Peace. We are the Department of Peace. We can pray. That's always a good thing to do. We can pray for peace, but we also can start mobilizing. We can look at these midterm elections. The president claims, Carolyn Levitt claims the president was joking when he said we don't need midterm elections because he's doing such a great job. But we know that he's made that comment more than once. I can think of at least one other time he said that. And so there is a real danger that we might not have elections. There is a real danger that he might try to use some kind of war powers, even though he does not have that power. But he's always making up powers for himself. And then the courts strike them down, and then he ignores it anyway. They do not have the power to cancel all of that U.S. aid. But they did. And the aid is gone. And people are not getting their medications, and folks are actually dying from that executive order. So, in some cases, the courts have said, you got to restore this, you got to restore that. Are they doing it? No, they're going to fight it. They're going to appeal it. They're going to slow walk it. And as we heard when we talked with Enrique Roy, who worked for the State Department, that many of those systems will be dismantled. Like, say you're in a remote village in Thailand, and there's a clinic that's been supported by United States aid and other Western powers that also send money, the colonizer countries that strip the wealth from these nations to begin with. So it's been supported by U.S. aid and some others. And then we take our aid away. And then all those people that work there, the nurses, doctors, whatever, they disperse. They go find other employment. That whole system disappears. The clinic is shut down. Now we restore the aid. You think it can just start back up tomorrow? No. They're going to have to, if they even have the means to find people to replace those folks, and that's going to cost more than just the cost of the regular maintaining of that clinic. And this is happening in villages and towns and cities all over the world. And it's leading to actual death and dis-ease. That's why I say it feels like good versus evil right now. It's not the whataboutism, the justifications. They just don't fly at this point. Let's go to Dwight calling us from the city of Compton.
Good morning, Dominique.
Hi,
good morning,
Dwight.
everyone there at KBLA. There's a little static on the line, so I hope I'm clear.
You sound perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, Dominique, I agree with you so much. All our this talk about following the Bible, Republicans talk about following the law and the Constitution, all lies. I would ask every Republican called, and most Republicans come on your show and say, "Oh, I didn't vote for Trump." How did he get in office? All these Republicans claiming they didn't vote for Trump because it looks so bad now, but somehow he got enough votes to get in office. And remember when right after January 6th, when the Republicans and Donald Trump attacked the U.S. Capitol, the courts told them do not destroy the Secret Service phones. They destroyed them anyway because they didn't want you to see the communication between the Secret Service and the Trump administration on trying to overthrow the government. And they still lie. They are the domestic terrorists who attacked the Capitol, trying to overthrow the country, and then the six corrupt Republican Supreme Court justices delayed Trump's trial until he was able to get reelected, and then they gave him immunity for the crimes he's committing now. And then Arlene Cannon delayed his trial for stealing the documents in Florida. So these people, they don't follow the Bible, they don't follow the Constitution, they don't follow the law, they don't follow court orders, they do not follow anything that they make everybody else follow or lie about them not following. So, Dominique, every Republican that come on there, I would ask them for proof, facts, and evidence, because they can get on the media and say anything about anything. So they are the true domestic terrorists that's trying to overthrow our government right now. So I would say, basically, we want facts, we want evidence. We don't want to believe nothing Trump says, nothing Republicans say, because now nobody's a Republican now. They're all independent, or none of them voted for Trump. How do you get in office? All these Republicans that come on your on the air, Dominique, right now say, "Oh, I didn't vote for Trump. I'm a Republican, but I didn't vote for Trump." How do you get in office, Dominique? But Dominique, I love your program. Thank you for the information and inspiration you give us. And I would just ask every Republican for facts and evidence, because they lied 24/7 since Trump ran down that escalator running the first time. And he's been lying ever since.
I mean, if anything, it seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah.
It seems like it's getting worse. And I do think that he is planning to run again in 2028. Run or shut down elections altogether and just stay. But I'm not as worried about that, because I don't see him being competent. I just don't think. I don't see how he'll be in good enough health to continue even the charade of running this country.
He technically shouldn't even be president now, because the 14th Amendment says if you try to overthrow the government, you cannot hold any government office. So technically, he shouldn't even be president right now.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah. Not to mention the fact that they probably cheated. I mean, when you look at the odds that he would win every single swing state, the odds that he would win every single county where the Democrats win all of the down ballot seats, but he wins the top of the ticket. The odds that he would win in counties that Republicans have never, ever won before in the history of the United States, they're very, very slim, which means the probability is that they cheated. Now, I don't have proof, but I have common sense. So between the 14th Amendment and that, he should not be the president now, but he is.
Yeah. And now they're attacking Cuba. And Castro came to America first for help before he went to the Russians. And then Iran elected a Democratic leader, and we overturned him because the people in Iran said, we want part of the oil money. So all this attacking Venezuela, attacking Cuba is all about oil and the racist billionaires that are trying to take over everything. So, Dominique, all these countries look at what we're only attacking the people that have oil. I guess they're the only ones that Trump, is really. And then he lies about. He's killing people in the Caribbean on ships, killing people in Minnesota. I mean, he's just blowing up schoolgirls, 165 school children in Iran. I mean, he's just killing people all around the world. So, Dominique, I love your show. Thank you for the information, and I hope I don't get you in trouble for the things I say. But I just want facts and proofs. I would not believe anything any Republican says right now, Dominique.
You think you could get me in more trouble than my own mouth has gotten me in over the years? I don't know. Maybe, Dwight. Maybe so. Thank you for caring. If it walks like a demon and it talks like a demon, that doggone thing is a white supremacist, new Confederate, stinky butt demon. That's what the heck it is. And so what do we do about it? Because it's being done in our name with our dollars. What do we do about it? Yeah, we can vote. That's good. We can mobilize. That's good. We can talk about it. That's great. We can do what Jeremiah was talking about last segment. It's not just for your local officials. It's also for the Congress people, the senators. So all of that plus prayer. And then to the point of now, call a demon a demon. It's time to stop being tippy-toeing around stuff because we're trying to be, we have to be fair. I'm fair. And when I see something evil and I call it evil, that's fair. Listening to these, the propaganda they're starting to realize that they're losing the propaganda war. They're losing the conversations on social media. The young people don't want to hear the BS, which is why Larry Ellison had to buy TikTok, because Hillary Clinton, along with Republicans, said that TikTok is what's making young people have sympathy for the Palestinians. And so they want to put a stop to that. And now I'm seeing the same kind of propaganda about Cuba. They're interviewing all these people who they call Cubans. Many of them have never been to Cuba because their parents fled Cuba after the revolution or during the Mariel boat lifts or at some point. And they were born here, or they came here as little babies, and they've never even been to Cuba. And they want to talk about how Castro or the Cuban government killed their dad or killed their mom or, oppressed their people. But they leave out Fulgencio Batista. Batista, the dictator who was supported by the United States, who was ruling Cuba from the 30s until 1959. That oppression was probably rained down on your family by him, and if it wasn't, it's because your family was part of that brutal dictatorship. So why are we talking to so-called Cubans who've never even been to Cuba and either don't know the history of Cuba, they're believing what their parents and grandparents told them, or they don't want to hear it because they were benefiting from a brutal dictatorship? Just like some folks, the Broligarchy is benefiting from the brutal authoritarian regime that we currently have, which it is our responsibility to push back on. And when I hear Iran wants to bomb California, I say, what? Why would they pick California? We are the resistance. We are the fourth largest economy in the world. We're like a nation within a nation trying to push back on Trumpism and the Trump agenda. Why would Iran bomb a school full of Iranian little girls? Why would they? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible. They know this is an economic engine that we pay for the well-being of many of these red states. We pay for their roads and their schools and their health care because this is one of the economic engines of the United States. So from that perspective, maybe they do want to bomb us. In any case, you got to look at it in the big picture. We can't just believe the little talking point, the little clip on the social media. Well, what's the context of that? And who are these people claiming that it's time to overthrow Cuba? We've been punishing them for 60 years, choking off their food, their energy supplies, medical supplies, medicines. We've been choking them for 60 years. If George Floyd was a country, and what people don't understand about Cuba, what we don't often understand about Cuba is that it is a largely black country that's been defying the United States for 60 years at a huge cost to their own citizenry. And now we want to kick their doctors out of other countries to punish Cuba? We want to stop Cuba from helping people to punish them? How can that be anything but evil? Oh, and by the way, you and you and you and you do not get health care either, U.S. citizen. Yeah, a friend just DM'd me that maybe Trump wants to bomb California and blame Iran. And I started with that this morning, not because I was thinking that, but because it's all over social media. People are saying that. And as I said, we have no proof of that, but we see a pattern. We see a pattern of Trump and his administration, Mike Johnson, Stephen Miller, Whiskey Pete, Hegseth. It's a pattern. We do dirty deeds and then blame the victim. That's their M.O. 800-920-1580. That's the number if you want to weigh in. If you got something to say, if you're part of the Department of Peace, I'd love to hear from you. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Warning, evacuation in progress. Leave the building.
It's a total takeover.
That's what I want.
On Friday, March 27th, KBLA Talk 1580 belongs to the women.
Are you ready?
All day long, from 6 in the morning to midnight, the mic belongs to powerful, accomplished women, and we are not letting go. Nothing but the voices of women who inspire, challenge, and move us forward. It's the women of KBLA Talk 1580, sun up to sundown. I'm Dominique DePrima, and I'll anchor the day with a 3-hour live panel from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the state of black women in LA, followed by women talking to women all day long about the issues that matter most. Our hosts for the day include Jill Monroe, Adrian Shropshire, Dr. Melina Abdullah, Angela Reddick Wright, Raquel Graham, Angelique Francis, Tasha Thomas, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, Dion Raymond, and featuring special guest hosts Santita Jackson and Amanda Seals. This is Women's History Month, and we're not just celebrating it, we're amplifying it. Join us Friday, March 27th on KBLA Talk 1580, where women take over all day, all night. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 and all of our socials for the rundown. You don't want to miss a single word. And happy Women's History Month from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
To my ladies,
I'll show you know how to work that.
You are the bomb.
Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help. Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and we're about to have a little exhale and some fun. We're gonna do some poetry. We're gonna have some art, some conversation, feed our creativity, and I think that is important in these terrible, terrible times. I do want to say, do you remember that, of course you do, that President Trump, while shutting down refugee applications from all over the world, people that were really in danger, people from Central America and Africa who were really facing death, who came here seeking refugee status, which is legal and it's part of the process of our system, that he, while shutting down people who really needed to come here, he invited white South Africans in, saying they were facing race genocide, which is what Elon Musk, a white South African who hasn't lived there since he was a baby and who became the richest man in the world, partly through the slave labor of South Africans working in his father's emerald mine. He claims that white people are facing a genocide in South Africa, and Trump thinks the same thing. So they gave these white South Africans refugee status. Come one, come all, come to the U.S. Well, now a bunch of those people are going back. They say the U.S. is too dangerous. They don't want to live here. The quality of life is not good. And apparently thousands of white South Africans are going back to South Africa. Now, if you were facing a genocide, an actual genocide, would you return to it? Even if things were a little rough in the place you went to get refuge? I think not. And I hope those white South Africans go back with a better attitude. I somehow doubt it, but I hope they do. I hope they go back saying, wow, I'm grateful. Basically what they're saying is, I would rather be under the governance of the African National Congress, i.e. black people, than the Trump administration. And these are apartheid people, survivors of or descendants of apartheid people. Basically, South Africa is only, 40 years out from their, 45, 50 years out from their slavery. They're apartheid. They're not just Jim Crow. I mean, apartheid was kind of like a cross between slavery and Jim Crow, sort of an in-between place. Anyway, they're going back. And guess what? The Trump administration sent an ambassador to South Africa, this guy Leo Bozell III, who is a stark, raving, white supremacist, conservative, Looney Tunes acting person. So he just started over there. And he goes in demanding that South Africa, as the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to South Africa, goes in there demanding that South Africa end any affirmative action programs. Now, mind you, they're just 40 years out from apartheid, right? He feels that he has the right to tell them that they should not have diplomatic relations with Iran, that they need to get rid of all the policies that he calls anti-white, that he says that they should not they should change their laws that allow the South African government to seize land through eminent domain, which they have not done, but which they could do, but which the United States does all the time. The audacity of these white supremacists is just insane to me. I'm not an elected official to your country. I am an ambassador. But my first month on the job, I'm going to say, you need to get rid of this law, this law, this law. You're anti-white. You can't have eminent domain, even though we have it in our country. And the ambassador, Mr. Bozell, has been called to meet with the South African government, has been called out, summoned is what they say, to explain his criticisms. They need to just kick him out. I mean, I guess they probably shouldn't, because then who knows, they might bomb them like they bombed Nigeria. But it's all over the world. It's giving rogue state. We are now being viewed in the international stage as the main problem. We the people can fix that. News, traffic, and sports, then it's time for some poetry. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The race for former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's Georgia seat is headed to a runoff. Former Republican State Senator Colton Moore has conceded.
If you look at the poll numbers, they don't really look that good for us.
He came in a distant third. Black Democrat Sean Harris and Republican